Cancer.
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 How could this be happening?
1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer this year. 1 in 4 people will die from it. Cancer affects everyone. Cancer costs the U.S. over $110 billion each year. Many people don't have the proper insurance to cover their care. Cancer changes lives. Changes lives. Bladder cancer, bone cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, childhood cancer, colon and colorectal cancer, esophageal cancer, gynecological cancer, head and neck cancer, Hodgkin's disease, kidney cancer, leiomyosarcoma, leukemia, lung cancer, lymphoma, male breast cancer, melanoma, mesothelioma, multiple myeloma, ovarian cancer, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, renal cancer, retinoblastoma, testicular cancer, thyroid cancer. These are the colors of cancer. Here are their stories.
I go every 6 months for testing. And I woke up that morning and my gut basically said that today was not going to be a good report. 3 weeks later, I was standing at the front door of a Tony Robbins event waiting to go in. 6 minutes to 6, my phone rings on a Thursday night. It's from my doctors in New York saying that I have breast cancer.
I discovered my cancer very unexpectedly in 2004. I was reaching under my arm to see if maybe I needed a shave for the next day, and instead of finding stubble, I found a lump.
We discovered it very late. From that point, it was just treatments to try to stop the growth.
I started to develop right flank pain, which then moved to my back, and I knew that there was something significantly wrong. They found a baseball-sized tumor in my retroperitoneum in a precariously positioned place.
After my brother had been diagnosed, all my brothers started to say, let's get treated. They found some small polyps around my prostate.
She passed out at work and was rushed to the hospital. 2 weeks after that, they diagnosed her with stage 3B cervical cancer.
Matt was diagnosed at around age 29. Came out of the blue. It wasn't feeling well and finally got diagnosed, and I was with him in Washington, D.C. when he had his first surgery.
I was sitting down at my desk in our apartment studying for a final. My wife came over to give me a very tender neck massage and found a lump probably the size of a golf ball.
I very rapidly found myself in the world of chemotherapy and cancer and surgery, and it was a very scary time.
She went from being this vibrant, brave girl, and though she was brave in her fight, she didn't understand what was going on, so it took a toll on her mentally. She was sad a lot of the time. It just took such a toll on not only her body, but her mental state.
I really do appreciate the little things in every day.
It made him tougher in terms of his way of dealing with adversity. I think it made him enjoy life a lot more. And at the end, I think it made him accept what was going to happen in a very peaceful way.
It made me question what was important, and life's too short.
Once he found out, he stayed true to his musicianship. He continued to teach music, and he continued to gig almost up into the day he died.
There's no good time to have cancer, and for me, it was, could not have come at a worse time, personally, professionally. I was in law school, doing well, getting ready to interview for jobs, doing well at work, finally getting used to being a father.
I really didn't feel gripped by fear until after it was all done. I had a delayed onset reaction, if you will.
Cancer, and leukemia in particular, is a very inconvenient illness, and the thing that I don't think people realize is it's not just the patient that's going through it. The analogy I use is it's like an atomic bomb going off in your life. You, the patient, are the epicenter of it, but everyone near and dear to you, they're all in the blast radius. From my son, unknowingly, fortunately he was not old enough to understand what was going on. My wife, who was, the next closest person to me.
It was devastating. It was so devastating. We didn't understand where this came from. She, of course, was scared to death. We were scared to death, and we didn't know the roller coaster ride that was in front of us.
My sister-in-law, it's her only child, and it was very hard for her. Still is very hard for her.
My husband is an extraordinary man. He was very supportive, and I have a rich and deep circle of fabulous friends who supported me. I will be forever indebted to them.
It's probably brought us closer, definitely. Yeah, spend a lot more time together and cherish that time.
I think the hardest part was being a father, being a husband, not being able to really take, being told that it's okay, you can't worry about your wife and your son, and what do you mean I can't worry about? That's my job. I'm here to take care of my son and my wife.
The hardest part I had to deal with is seeing my sister, who was at first just healthy and happy, just be so sad and look, sick and lose her hair and lose so much weight. It was just devastating. It was devastating to watch, and she's my younger sister. I remember one time visiting her in the hospital after one of the more scarier bouts, and she was in a coma. And the nurse said, "Is this your mother?" And I just thought, how could this be happening?
We've never gotten a rest. We've been fighting for 5 years. My husband was diagnosed at nearly the same time. The most difficult part for me has been the unrelenting journey. We've been into it 5 years deep. It's the constancy of the battle that probably is the most challenging.
The hardest part for me was losing control, or my perceived control of my body. I was one of those people who was very fit and very active, and I thought that something like that could never happen to me.
Just not knowing what to expect, I think, was the scariest part.
I think most cancer people want to continue living a normal life. I would encourage people to continue treating us like people, like the fully formed and highly experiential people that we are. And when we go to a business function, we want to talk about business. And when we go to a social function, we want to talk about social things. I don't want to talk about my cancer.
The first thing you want to do is be sensitive to the fact that they don't want to be treated as a sick person. They wanted to be treated as someone who is just going through a hard time.
The C word is not a club that anybody wants to belong to, but there are some very positive things that can come out of it. You have to stay positive.
We often hear the expression, why keep throwing money at a problem? But cancer and research is a problem that money has to be thrown at. It's the only way we're going to solve the problem.
It was really great to know that I was sitting in my hospital room, and somewhere around the block every day there were people who I didn't know, who were just sitting in a lab looking for a solution to this.
It's important to donate, give your time, volunteer, whatever you can do, because this can happen to anyone. It can happen to you, and if one of your family members was going through this, you would want all the money and resources in the world to help them survive this, or at least have a great quality of life while they're going through it.
Although my life may be cut short, the work that I can do today to raise awareness for the benefit of children might be significant in some way someday.
You've heard the stories. It's time to take action and step up the fight against cancer. Why? If not now, then when? How many more lives do we have to lose? What can you do? Join us and help us to kick cancer overboard.
I'm so excited about the event, Kick Cancer Overboard.
It's going to be a party. We're going to have a cruise on May 21st to Bermuda, 5 days. Bermuda's a great place. It's a lovely island. The people are lovely.
It's going to be a fabulous venue for people, survivors, and their supporters to get together and be honored.
I can't imagine a more beautiful thing than being on a boat with cancer patients, survivors, and supporters working together to relax, to enjoy, to embrace life as it's actually happening.
If you've ever been on a cruise, you do nothing but just be pampered.
Who would not want a week in Bermuda? You want to go and have some fun in the sun, enjoy yourself, enjoy time with your family.
While you're being pampered, you can feel good about where the dollars are going.
You're going to learn some things about how to make your life better. You're going to learn some things about people who have survived from cancer, and we can take a lesson from all of them. And you're going to be able to sip little drinks with little paper umbrellas in them and put your feet back and relax in one of the world's prettiest places.
I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to come together under the C umbrella and make a difference.
What you've got to be able to do is take something from it in terms of what do you do every day to make it better. And I think that's the lesson that Matthew left with us all.
To all of the supporters and the survivors out there, keep going, keep moving.